Hey guys, Mr. C Silverfox still crashing the day away after this boot camp in Vegas with Mr. Navid. Hey, take it easy. You haven't even bought me a drink. With Mr. Navid, coming to us from the UK with one of those crazy British accents.
Water.
Water. I've been working on my British accent. So, that's another question I have for you guys. Why do you think like half the dating coaches or more all have a British accent? What's up with that?
That's a good point. I actually haven't thought about that.
It's probably even higher than half.
Yeah.
I'm like a minority because I don't have a British accent.
Well, what's funny is, in the UK, we actually like your accent more.
Really?
So.
Do I sound sophisticated and exotic?
Yeah, very sexy.
So, guys, you have to learn how to admit when you're wrong. We already covered that, how to do that with men. With women, this makes you look fucking sexy, and it's a skill that you're probably going to be using once every couple days or once every week, especially once you get into a relationship. You cannot survive in a relationship without this skill. Zero possibility. No. So come back after the intro and we're going to get into things. Hey guys, you've done something where in the moment, maybe you didn't know you were wrong, or maybe in the moment you knew you were wrong, you handled the situation poorly, whatever, and you get that feeling in your gut where you're like, fuck, I'm not gonna go to her first and tell her that I did something wrong. Fuck that, I'm the man, right? Your ego is puffing up. Now, if you're dating the girl and you're just going out on one date is one thing, but especially if you've got a bit of a connection with her, maybe you're in love with this girl, maybe you're in a relationship with her, or you want to be, how you handle the situation right now is super, 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 super fucking important. I've really pivoted in the last couple of years. Now I focus much more on relationship coaching and less on like pickup or day game coaching because it's followed my own trend. I'm in a serious relationship now with a little sweetheart, and there's a lot of stuff that comes up where it's like, this is super important, and one of them is conflict resolution. And so definitely watch the video where me and Navid were talking about our own experiences to men and how we had an issue come up and how we handled it, because it's similar but slightly different nuance when you're dealing with a woman.
Yeah. No, I think it's important you watch that first before you watch this video, because then you understand some of the philosophies that we talked about. That's going to make more sense than when you watch this video after. Yeah.
And so then come back and check this video. And so now there's one super important thing that I've learned, specifically the more feminine she is, the more this video will be applicable to you. I'm dating a 19-year-old, extremely feminine, probably the most feminine woman I've ever met.
And extremely attractive.
Yes,
as well.
Stunning little cutie, probably the most stunning little cutie I've ever met. But she's 19, I'm 46. Obviously, you know, we come up into one of her insecurities, or maybe I've done something which triggers some jealousy, or maybe I just made a mistake or whatever, right? You have these moments where you're just not at your best, right? If you're having these more than like once every 4 or 5 days, then you know you really got to sort your shit out. But even if your shit is fairly well sorted out, you're gonna have like at least once a week probably where you're gonna be like, oh fuck, I shouldn't have said that, I shouldn't have done that, right? What I've learned, the best way to address the situation, first, get your shit together, sort out your emotions, calm yourself down. Do not blow up, do not say shit in the moment. Just don't do it. Just learn not to do it. Shut the fuck up. Be, you know what? I'm frustrated, I'm bothered or whatever. I'll talk to you about this later. But do not lose your shit, because that makes her lose all respect for you. It's also abusive, depending on how you're doing it, right?
And actually, I just want to explain like a scientific theory here. It's that when you get angry, you actually go into your more animal brain, the reptile brain, so you can't think as well. That's what I noticed. Whenever I'm angry, I always make like a mistake.
You get
when
like
I'm trying to figure
vision.
something out. Because you can't think logically, and you can't sort it out, you know, in a way that you would when you were calm and relaxed.
Totally.
Right?
It's like your computing power is at 10% of normal.
Yeah, exactly.
I used to do, that's a very good point. I used to do Krav Maga, and in Krav Maga they talk about like, okay, if you get grabbed by like 5 guys or 3 guys outside a club, and how to fight 3 guys is very different than fighting 1 guy in a ring, like a boxing ring with a referee.
Yeah.
And if you're fighting 3 guys, part of what you have to train at is not getting into tunnel vision. You grab a guy, you've got him in a headlock, you feed him a couple shots or something, and you're not focused on the 2 other guys, his friends that are standing behind you.
Yeah.
You're like,
oh, and then they come in behind you.
You're dead.
Yeah,
but you're dead because you got focused on him, and you lost focus on what's around you, and some guy came up behind you with a 2x4, right?
Yeah.
And so I think you're pointing out a good point. It's like when you get into that tunnel vision, just shut up. Don't say something stupid and destroy the relationship. Instead, tell her you need a few minutes, go calm yourself down, maybe take an hour, whatever. Journal is a very good technique if you can't do anything else. Talk to one of your masculine friends.
Yeah.
Make sure, this is how you know if your friend is masculine or feminine. In the moment you call them up, you're like, hey, seeing this girl, Jenny, blah, blah, blah. She did this thing and it really pissed me off. If they are a feminine-based person, like they're a feminine essence, they're gonna come to your defense. And they're gonna say, oh man, that's terrible. She should not, that's horrible. She shouldn't have done that. Women are bitch, blah, 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 blah. Women are horrible. Why do they not appreciate us men? That's a feminine reaction. When women go to their friends to talk about how bad you are or me, right? Their friends defend the girl, and they slag on men because they're trying to give them emotional support, right? And that's what women want when they talk to their friends, so that's what they do. That is not masculine.
Yeah.
If your mate calls you up and he's like, hey, I went out and then my girl did this thing, your job as a masculine man is to help your friend discover their own personal responsibility, right? And so if you're a masculine, as a masculine man, you want friends in your life that are safe masculine-wise to call you on your shit. So if I'll call Tusk a lot when I do shit, right? And I'll be like, hey, this happened, and part of me wants to hear him say, yeah, that's horrible, you're in the right. But he'll respond with like, no, dude, you never should have done that. What do you mean? And he'll be like, well, maybe she's 80% to blame, but your 20% is you did this and this and this. What the fuck were you thinking, man? Be a better man.
Yeah.
And that's what you need. When a man helps you see your personal responsibility, you become free. You're like, holy shit, you're right. In the video we just did, when you helped me see my personal responsibility, I was able to respond and be like, yeah, you're right, I dropped the ball in that moment, right?
No, that's totally a good point, because when you're in that situation, you've got the emotions which can't make you think properly.
Yeah, it's like a cloud.
Yeah, and when you get someone else's opinion, they can really clear up the situation. They can really say, oh, this is actually what, as you said, this is
connected to this, and probably she did this because of this.
Yeah, and when you get that feedback, you're like, oh, why didn't I think about that? Because it's you're in that emotional situation where, again, that you cloud up and you can't think properly.
So contact one of your masculine mates that is not going to ally with you and bitch and victim about how horrible women are.
Yeah.
Instead, pick one of those guys on your list. You should have 3 or 4 guys in your life like this, and that you've built up intentionally. These are your mates. Go to one of your mates, help get perspective so you can discover your own personal responsibility. Once you've done that and you've kind of calmed down, go to her vulnerably.
Yeah.
This is like the most important thing I've learned, especially with emotional Latinas, and especially when you're like twice her age. And if you are 36, you should not be dating somebody that's half your age. That is an aside.
If you're 20, guys.
Yes, if you're 20, that's gross.
Completely ignore that.
But my point is, you have to go to her vulnerably. When you're defensive and you're in your ego, you're just gonna have a fight.
Yeah.
But if you go to her and you're like, look, I'm coming to you vulnerably. When I did this thing, and then focus on what you did wrong. When I did this thing, you know what? It may not be 100% of the problem, but when I did this thing, I botched the situation. I made things a lot worse. I never should have said that. I shouldn't have done that. I shouldn't have gone there. That might only be 10% of the problem, but when you focus on that, you're going to free her to feel like her needs have been addressed, and you're gonna lower her wall, and she's going to not be defensive and self-protective, and her vulnerability is going to come back. You guys are going to feel a sense of connection again, and probably very quickly she's going to say, yeah, you know what, you did do that, and it did make me feel really angry and frustrated, and I didn't feel respected or whatever. But you know what? I probably, you're not doing it for this to happen, but probably 8 times out of 10, you're going to trigger her own sense of not personal responsibility, but you're going to trigger her own apology. And she's going to be like, you know what? I totally appreciate that you did all that stuff. And you know what? When I did this, yeah, you were right actually, or whatever, right? Yeah. But my point is, go to her in vulnerability, focus on your personal responsibility, and you will actually increase her trust, her sexual attraction to you. Yeah. She will think of you as a far more masculine, strong man. Yeah. And when you do the opposite, when you avoid going and apologizing, you're actually showing her how weak you are because you're in the core of your ego. Totally. No, I'm right. I'm right. Yeah, shut up, I'm right. It's like you're super weak. You're like a little snowflake. Nobody can poke you. Yeah. And when you do that with women, they don't trust you. They're not going to open up to you. They're not going to be vulnerable. Yeah. And she's going to be like, "What a weak fucking man. I'm getting the hell out of here."
Yeah. If you're in the wrong place and you know that you've crossed the line, you've got to you got to go there and be like, "Listen, I know I made a mistake."
You have to initiate it too.
Yeah.
That fucking sucks. It really sucks.
Yeah. Yeah, you just got to go there and say, listen, I know that I crossed the line, and the reason I did it is because I like you, and I really want this to work between us.
Exactly.
Right? And that's
why I did it. It's a good time to show some emotional investment with her. Yeah. You're like, exactly like you said, I'll say that to my girlfriend. Yeah. I'll be like, sweetheart, I got to be honest, I really love what we have, and I really, you have control over your decision, and if things don't work out because of that, whatever, that's your choice, right? But I want you to know, like, above all other women that I've met, like, I want it to work with you, and that's why I doubled down with you. And maybe I got a little sensitive about that because of this or because of this, and just be vulnerable and open, but being in control of yourself.
Totally. And one thing that I've noticed from the past situations that have happened to me is that relationship actually becomes stronger.
Huge.
You like that person more.
Huge.
And you feel like you have this amazing connection now because of that happening.
And she will literally look at you as like, holy shit, he's not in the top 10% of men. He's in the top 2% of men. Because not only is he incredible in this way, and this way, but now also I see that when he does a mistake, he owns it like a man.
Yeah.
And I can trust him that he's going to own it when he does. Like, I don't have to fear that he's going to be ego, you know? And he's not dangerous in that sense, right?
And when we think about, like, evolution and the reason why women really like men that are masculine is because when a man does that, what does that show when we go back to the caveman time? It shows that this man can actually protect her.
Huge.
Right? He's not gonna, if a guy comes up and, and tries to do something, he's not going to be like running away. And
he's going to set a boundary.
Exactly. And in order to show that, you don't have to like start fighting someone. It's all about these,
it's on the micro scale.
Exactly.
And then it never usually even gets to the macro scale.
Exactly.
I did a video a couple weeks ago on what is alpha. And in the video I said, there was some sociologist, some cultural anthropologist, I think, or something, that evolutionary biologist, some ist, and some expert in something. And they did some studies with gorillas or chimpanzees or something. Yeah. And they were like, okay, who are the most successful alphas in the chimpanzee pack or whatever, right? And they found out they're not the most masculine. They're like 80% masculine and 20% feminine.
What, the leaders?
The successful leaders.
Yeah.
Because when a 100% masculine, like fucking bulldozer comes along in the gorilla pack, if he doesn't have emotional intelligence, he crushes everybody with his strength, and then 3 or 4 gorillas gang up on him, and they literally tear him apart and kill him. And so he's successful in the very short term because he crushed everybody. Yeah. He's like a military dictator. Yeah. He's successful for a short period of time, and then everybody destroyed him.
Yeah.
But the really successful alphas had to understand how to lead, how to be masculine, how to do all these things, and at the same time, how to understand somebody else's emotions, compassion, empathy, how to go to somebody and maintain relationships and connections. And when you think about really alpha guys that I mean, they have to have that component too. You look at, like, who would you say is really alpha? That's popular. Like that's famous.
George Clooney? You actually look like George Clooney. That's what I was gonna say actually. Remember when we were talking to those girls?
When we were talking about Casino 11.
And Ocean 11, and I was like,
Ocean's 11.
Ocean 11, like, you look like someone, like George Clooney. Have you ever had that before?
No, I used to get, what the hell's the guy's name? Okay, no, I can't remember the guy's name. I literally just off camera spent about 5 minutes trying to remember it. This is what happens when you're 47. Your memory goes. But yeah, so that's super important. I would say one person that's super masculine, in my opinion, in one area, he's a little bit autistic. He's not masculine in maybe certain areas, relationally with women. But Elon Musk, super fucking masculine in business. You go like, here's a guy that can overcome all fears and push forward to what he believes in. And here's a guy that can convince hundreds of thousands of other people to follow him.
Yeah.
To do crazy shit. And that is crazy masculine. But why is he so successful? It's not because he's so good at driving his point home. Maybe Steve Jobs was more like that, like forcing people to do what he thought. But you go like, he's able to captivate people and get them into his vision, and he's able to use hundreds of thousands of other people's strengths and qualities and build something out of that. That's why he's got like fucking 5 companies that are transforming the world, right?
Oh, that's beautiful.
That's badass.
Because when I think back to the chimpanzee example, that now makes sense. Because actually I never knew that. I always thought you just got to be super masculine and just, like that bulldozer. But what you're saying is, it's actually makes sense.
Yeah, you have to be able to navigate those relationships.
Yeah, and that's why
right?
Elon Musk is able to lead all these guys.
Huge.
Because he's not the bulldozer, because
Exactly.
the bulldozer wouldn't be able to do that.
And people used to say things about Steve Jobs. I mean, he was also a genius, and probably also on the spectrum. But people used to say, even when he would be like, okay, we're releasing iPhone 5 or something, and it has to have this new upgrade that has to be able to do this particular thing. And the engineers would be like, there's no fucking way that we can do that. Like, we've only got 2 weeks before the release date. And he'd be like, and people talked about the Jobs distortion field.
Yeah.
I think that's what they called it. And he would, in the meeting, he would say, no, Navid, you don't understand. I see in you how incredible you are with creativity and whatever. You're going to get it done. Yeah. And you would be like, yeah, I am. Oh, you're right. I'm incredible. You're right. And then he would leave the room and you'd be like, what the fuck did I just agree to? I can't get that done. Yeah. But then you would somehow get it done.
Yeah.
And that's how he created all these incredible technologies
insane.
That we have.
Yeah.
Over and over and over, he did that with a bunch of people. But that's like, you could say it's maybe a little manipulative, but he literally led, not as a gorilla, not as like a tank, but he led kind of from the inside of understanding what motivates people, right? And those types of leaders, I mean, are 10,000 times stronger. You look at maybe at like, what's the North Korea Bomberman guy?
Jim Kun.
Yeah, there is a shitty leader.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't understand how to empower his people, and that's why his people, live in the dust,
Hate
right?
him,
and hate him and want to kill him.
Yeah.
And he has to have all this military around him to keep people from killing him, right? But you go like, then you look at Elon Musk or Steve Jobs or whatever, and they've created these incredible things by harnessing relationships with people because they have a somewhat of an understanding of how to connect to people.
Yeah. Actually, I wanted to say a story about a situation that happened with me a couple years ago with a girl. And again, this was a Russian girl. We did a video before this, and I talked about the story with a Russian girl. This was another Russian girl, which in their culture...
You've met more than 2 Russian girls?
I have.
More than 1 Russian girl?
I have.
Slut.
And as we mentioned before, obviously with the Russian girls, they really want a masculine guy, just like the Latinos. And
or the Latinas.
Latinas.
But if you're a gay Latino, you will probably want a masculine guy too.
And what happened is, I did exactly what we talked about here, not here, but the other video, where I said, what you did was wrong, and I let her know, and I got a little bit,
you set a boundary.
Yeah, I set a boundary right there, and I got a little bit angry, because I felt like she really crossed the boundary, and I was like, I'll let her know. And it was really good, but I slightly went over the line. And I was upset, and I was just like frustrated, and I didn't talk to her, I was like, when you get butthurt, I don't know if you guys have that word.
Yeah.
And I was butthurt, and then...
But it sounds so much better when you say it with your accent.
Yeah.
I got butthurt.
Butthurt, baby.
And then I got a water. I got my water.
And basically what happened was, this was before I was a dating coach. This was, I'm talking about like 6 years ago now, maybe now. And one of the, world's best dating coaches was mentoring me back then. And I spoke to him and I said, man, this is what happened. And he was like, what you did was good, but quickly you should resurrect it. quickly you should talk to them and say, oh, actually, you know, oh yeah, you know, and start to like make jokes and stuff and forget it. But I was like, you know, how do you say it? I was just keep
Stuck in that loop.
yeah, I was just extending the, you know, the argument. Because
Sometimes it's hard to get out of that loop because
Yeah.
you're like, but you frustrated me. I'm sorry about that. Yeah, but you frustrated me. Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
sorry about that. But you frustrated me,
Yeah.
and you're like,
And
I can't. And she's like, what the fuck? I already,
yeah, and I
already
mean,
addressed it.
I didn't like lose out on that girl, but I didn't handle it in the perfect way. And that was a great experience for me because now I know, okay, you've got to let them know, and then after it, you just forget it, right?
Yeah.
And that's what masculine men do, right? And that's what you were saying about, you know, the 80-20. I was more in the like 95 of, you know, the masculine. And you're totally
We were
right.
all there, you know, before, right?
Yeah.
I always say this on my channel. Masculinity and dating like this, it's a skill. And I could count probably on one hand how many guys intuitively just had it.
Yeah.
Every guy that's gotten good with women and understand how to actually date in an incredible way, you learned it. You started training, same
Yeah.
as the gym. You go, you train, you learn, you grow, you change, you grow. This is how it works. It's a skill. You learned it.
Oh, totally. And this is something that you've got to experience for yourself. Just watching this video, you're not going to be like, oh, you know, now I'm whatever Elon Musk. You've got to go out there and get in those situations.
Hang on
Don't
a
be
second.
afraid.
Are you saying I'm not equal to Elon Musk? Out of this entire video, that's all I've got. Fuck you. The only difference
You're
between
better than
Elon
Elon
Musk,
Musk, bro.
the only difference between me and Elon Musk is he's got like 7 world-changing companies and hundreds of thousands of people working for him and billions of dollars under his belt, and he's a genius. And he's South African. But aside from that, we are exactly the same.
Exactly.
If you take all those off the table, we both have 2 feet. I eat food every day just like him, and we both have hair.
Yeah.
So I mean, like basically, I'm Elon Musk.
You didn't talk about the Latinas that you've dated compared to Elon Musk.
Yeah, true. None of the Latinas I know enjoy spending time with Elon Musk.
You've definitely
So that's like another thing that we have in
You've
common.
definitely dated more Latinas
Definitely.
than Elon Musk.
There is one thing. There we go. We finally can find one thing. One thing. Elon, if you're watching this, buddy, you're
Get in
incredible.
touch.
Get in touch.
Get in touch. We can change your life.
Totally happy.
Yeah.
50% discount for you if you pay in crypto.
Totally.
God.
If you pay us with a Tesla.
One Tesla and I will be your bitch.
All right, so we're going to wrap it up now. So if you guys want to really learn how to do this, what I would suggest is to sign up to silverfox's program. He's got one of the best programs you can imagine that will teach you years of experience. Do you want to...
I mean, that's
tell
the
the guys
beautiful thing
about-
about coaching, in my opinion,
Yeah.
is like you can take what you would learn by trial and error in like, let's say probably 6 months, maybe even a year.
Yeah.
You can learn that in a week. It's so
Totally.
fucking efficient. That's why we do these boot camps. We're
Oh,
passionate
yeah.
about teaching guys how to become far superior
The first
men.
time I got coaching, what happened was all my wings were against it. They were like, bro, you can learn it by yourself. And I really had this mindset of, oh, I can actually learn it by myself. Tried it for 2 years, completely wasted my time. And it was just like what you said in that seminar.
Yeah.
It was like when I did the bootcamp, I was like, what the fuck was I doing? What I learned in 2 days was about 10 times more than what I learned in 2 years. And I was like you just pay the money and basically you're...
You just get like a fast forward, like in the Matrix. You're
Yeah.
gonna download karate. Oh,
Yeah.
I know jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, and from that day, everything I do now, you know, whether it's in business, whether it's in the gym, whether it's, you know, in public speaking, charisma, I get a coach, right?
Totally.
And every time I've decided to get a coach,
Let's
it's
do a
been...
video just on that.
Yeah,
Just on about coaching.
Oh, totally. We'll do that. So, yeah.
We'll wrap it up. Stay very cool, guys.
Yeah.
And we'll come right back with a video just on how to absolutely transform your mind,
Exactly.
your mind, your life, your love life, your sex life, even your
Leadership.
business, super quickly and relatively painlessly.
Yeah.